right, and the winner is Douglas Burke, surfer, Team Confronts Fear.
Put your fears aside. Going alone, no, I'll be right by your side and ride the wave.
And here to accept the award, all the way from California, Douglas Burke, everybody.
Thanks for having me. I'm really grateful, and that I'm so happy that you guys watched the movie and that Eric played it and you saw it twice. And, I'm just happy that people watched it, really, and I'm indebted. Thank you.
Please sit. While we have you here, we have to at least do a quick Q&A. But my first question was, is this the first award that the film has won?
I think so, yeah.
Was there any audience questions right off the bat? I could talk to Douglas forever. Please, in the back.
Where were the scenes, which beach were the scenes shot at?
You mean the stuff against the rock?
Yeah.
Corona del Mar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So the thing that I'm most curious about is that there's footage from a lot of different eras in the son's life.
Yeah.
At what point, was it with the dead whale when that appeared, or when did you decide I'm going to make a movie and use some of this footage that I have?
Well, I started filming him, with the exception of that dream sequence when he was real young. I'd actually shot that for another movie that's done, but it doesn't have any music yet, and it didn't work. So that footage had sort of sat for a decade, and then so that footage when he's speaking in poetry, and he's like 5 or 6, I resurrected that and plugged it in. Because in Surfer, he's supposed to be shocked that I say I'm his dad, and the audience is supposed to not believe it. So, and he's supposed to not believe it. But then that dream sequence is supposed to make you buy into it. But the other footage was I was just filming him as a surfer, and from when he was very young, and we'd film actually 3 or 4 mornings a week, and I was filming him so he could see his maneuvers, and then after a couple of years of that, maybe 18 months or so, I decided that this would make a good silent movie, kind of like Fantasia, where Mickey Mouse is fighting the water, and so I just kept filming, thinking, well, I'll make it into a silent movie, maybe for the internet, and. But then when he started to ride pretty big waves, when he's 11, he rode the Wedge in Newport, which is a pretty big wave, and then at 12 he rode a pretty big wave at Todos Santos, which is 9 miles off Ensenada, and then 13 he rode Puerto Escondido, which is a break down about 100 miles north of Guatemala. And he rode that wave. That's a very menacing wave. It's very steep and fast. And pretty much if he could ride that, he was only 13, about 85 pounds maybe when he rode there. And I thought, oh my God, he could, should be able to ride anything if he could ride Big Porto. And then just a month after that, he rode Mavericks, which is a very big slab in Half Moon Bay. And I told him, I said, if you keep doing that and we get like a giant wave, that we'll we'll make a movie with dialogue. Would you like to do that?" And he said, "Yeah." And so it wasn't long after Mavericks. I think he first wrote Mavericks in well, he was 13, and then he turned 14 in like November 21, I think 2015, and then in February of 2016 there was a big El Nino, and there's a lot of waves in the winter, and he rode that giant wave you see at the end, and then I said, okay, we gotta take all this footage and make it into a movie, you know, a real movie with a story, and so that's kind of how it went, you know.
Yeah, so for those who didn't see it, just to summarize, it started out as home video footage of his son surfing and became this spiritual feature-length odyssey.
Yeah. And all that stuff that I teach him, we really did in real life, like meditation, but it was spaced out over many years. So we sort of condensed it.
Let's take
Yeah.
a couple more.
Yeah.
You spoke about another film that's not finished. Do you have any previous films or any future projects?
I have a film that's done, and there's a little sequence of Sage in it, and I just have to score it. That film was never released because I didn't have music, and you know, everybody wants so much money for music, especially in LA, and the same thing happened with Surfer when I got it done. There's no music, you know, so I started. I composed music out of need, really, you know. So I can finish that. I want to get that one done. Surfers really sort of motivate me to try and finish these projects. There's another movie. We're going to start filming some of it. Well, it's about 1/3 done, and that's sort of another long project, and that's a hot rod. I call it the hot rod movie. I don't have a title for it. Just call it the hot rod movie. And one of my brother's daughters is 12, and she's going to do a little thing in it, and so we're going to try and do that in early August this summer, and then the rest of it I can finish over the course of the year. So there's those projects, yeah. But Surfer, really, I mean, I you know, I'm glad people watch it. It seems like it's still being discovered in these independent cinemas, and it's been like 20. I think by September it'll have been in about 32 movie theaters, and so it's still kind of rolling over, and it kind of make me want to finish. You know, when you start a big project and it's not done, you feel like you're as a human being, you feel like you're in pieces, and until you finish it, you know. Yeah. So I want to finish those ones I started. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about spiritual themes? I know there's a spiritual connection in surfing, but how did you develop those in Surfer, since it started as something else entirely?
It was really from Sage because he, we had done that because he was really scared sometimes of big waves. It was important to him to conquer that. So I taught him meditation and Tai Chi and deep breathing and stuff to get over fear. And so, but how to put it into the story was, I mean, I wanted to invoke like a biblical thing, like the Bible is sort of like there's secrets in it for like getting a lot of energy in your body and stuff if you interpret it right, and so also the story of Jonah and everything. So I think the Bible is a lot more than what people use it for, like as opposed like in making a religion out of it. It's it's a meditation, you know, and it's almost like an acid trip if you really read it. It really is, and so I think I've had some pushback from some religious groups, you know, that hey, you're not allowed to do that with the Bible, but a rabbi said that's a really unique interpretation of Jonah, and you know, and then like in LA, I had a couple, you know, I don't know, why isn't Jesus in there? You know, you can't do that to the Bible. And, well, I just did, you know. It's the same thing like, it's the same thing like, who was it saying, Burke, you can't do that. You can't put a 10-minute monologue in a movie. You can't do that. It's not right. I said, well, yeah, well, we did, you know. Yeah.
You got time for 2 more. Come on right there. Who were some of your main influences as a filmmaker?
Well, you know, I love so many movies. You know, I'm sure I'm influenced by all of them, and but I just love them so much. You know, I mean, I love Orson Welles movies. I love Quentin Tarantino. I love Sergio Leone. I love. But some of my favorite movies were one of them. I love Rocky. You know, Sage is kind of like Rocky. I love Rocky. I love Beckett with Peter O'Toole. You know, yeah, just so many. I think just there's so much film I love. So it's hard to say one. You know, yeah.
Any more? Okay, last one. Is there a release date for DVD or home video? As soon as I saw this movie, I needed to have it.
Yeah. I want to do that, but I just like as long as these people like I just got a bunch of more emails like last week, and there's like about another 25 theaters that want to play it, and what I'm feeling is that the more it stays in theaters, that the more people know about it, then the DVD and Blu-ray and video on demand will have enough press behind it to bring the money you need to make another movie and not take 11 years to do it, you know. Yeah. So I'm kind of just like trying to just keep in theaters so it can build, you know. It really I am the distributor, and you know there's not much budget, so you can do anything with less money. It's just going to take longer, you know. Like making the movie took a long time, you know. Yeah. So, yeah. Thanks a lot.
Oh my God! Thank you so much for coming in, Douglas Burke, everybody. It's nuts.